Today we uncover the shocking truth about UK coconut oil. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that coconut oil is bad for you. It isn't. And I'm not going to say its high saturated fat content makes it a health hazard. I'll leave that to the doctors. What I can say is that virgin coconut oil is one of the healthiest cooking fats available, especially for high-heat cooking where olive oil breaks down and seed oils like rapeseed turn into oxidized compounds. Its high smoke point makes it ideal for roasting, frying, and baking. This is a genuinely healthy fat when you get the real thing. But here's the problem. Government testing by the Food Standards Agency found palm oil mixed into coconut oil samples sold on British shelves. Laboratory analysis detected hormone-disrupting chemicals in every single jar of coconut oil tested. Some of Britain's most trusted retailers won't even tell you who actually manufactures their coconut oil. Brands are gaslighting shoppers with terms like extra virgin, despite knowing full well the phrase is completely meaningless when it comes to coconut oil. And refined coconut oil processed with industrial chemicals sits next to virgin coconut oil with almost identical packaging, leaving shoppers completely in the dark about what they're actually buying. The coconut oil aisle looks pure and natural. The reality is considerably more complicated. Major supermarkets hide the identity of their contract manufacturers. Budget brands source from multiple countries with zero traceability. Premium health food stores charge double for products with the same lack of transparency as discount alternatives. And processing methods that strip away every beneficial compound are disguised behind labels saying pure and natural. This isn't about coconut oil being unhealthy, it's about which coconut oil you're buying and what's being hidden from you on the label. So we've gone through every major brand currently sold in UK supermarkets. We'll expose the 8 coconut oil products you need to think twice about before buying. Then I'll tell you the 8 brands that actually deliver what they promise. But before we get into it, if this kind of investigation matters to you, if you think people deserve to know what they're really buying, hit that like button and especially hit the hype button right now. Every hype tells YouTube this matters. Every hype pushes this video to more people who need to see it. Every hype sends a message to these companies that we're paying attention. When enough people demand transparency, when enough shoppers start asking questions, companies have to respond. They have to raise their standards, they have to tell the truth. But that only happens when videos like this reach enough people. So if you believe shoppers deserve honest information about what they're putting in their bodies, hype this video. Share it. Make sure it gets seen. Because the more people who know what to look for, the harder it becomes for brands to hide behind vague labels and missing information. And let's get into it. Number 8. Tesco own brand organic virgin coconut oil. Tesco is Britain's largest supermarket. Their organic virgin coconut oil sits on thousands of shelves across the country. The jar looks clean, the price seems reasonable. The organic certification gives you confidence. But here's what that jar won't tell you. Tesco doesn't disclose who manufactures this product. The label says packed in the UK, which tells you precisely nothing about where the coconuts came from or who processed them into oil. It says non-EU agriculture, which means the coconuts could be from literally anywhere outside Europe. The contract manufacturer behind this product is completely unknown to you as the consumer. And here's why that matters. When a supermarket uses contract manufacturers, they can change suppliers between batches without ever telling you. One month, your jar might come from supplier A in the Philippines. Next month, it could be supplier B in Indonesia. Different farms, different processing standards, different quality controls. You'd never know because the label stays exactly the same. If a quality issue arises, if contamination is discovered, if something goes wrong, tracing the source becomes nearly impossible. The Food Standards Agency's 2023 to 2024 surveillance program specifically tested coconut oil for authenticity. They found issues, but with own brand products where the manufacturer isn't disclosed, accountability disappears. You're not buying from a company that stakes its reputation on every jar. You're buying from whichever supplier won Tesco's contract that quarter. The packaging is plastic. Research from the Food Standards Agency confirms that phthalates may migrate from plastic packaging into fatty foods. The European Food Safety Authority notes that chemicals in food contact materials can transfer into products. Coconut oil is lipophilic, meaning it readily absorbs compounds from whatever container it's stored in. Glass packaging eliminates this concern. Plastic packaging introduces it. For a product you're using daily for cooking, for something you're adding to your family's food, that lack of transparency should concern you. Tesco could easily disclose their supplier. They could name the processing facility. They could provide traceability. They choose not to. What you're getting is an organic certification that only covers how the coconuts were grown. It tells you nothing about processing, nothing about handling, nothing about transport, and nothing about who's actually making the oil inside that jar. Number 7. Sainsbury's own brand organic virgin coconut oil. Sainsbury's positions itself as the quality supermarket, the place where people who care about what they eat choose to shop. Their organic virgin coconut oil carries that same expectation of higher standards. But peel back the marketing and you'll find exactly the same problem as Tesco. Unknown manufacturer, the label says packed in the UK, it says non-UK agriculture from the Soil Association organic certification. That's where the information stops. No named supplier, no disclosure of which country the coconuts actually came from, no transparency about processing facilities or methods, just a Sainsbury's label and a price tag. Here's what makes this particularly frustrating. When you search for product availability online, Sainsbury's organic virgin coconut oil shows as currently out of stock in every store, according to price comparison sites. The price fluctuates between £2.70 and £3.30 for the same size jar. That kind of inconsistency suggests supply chain problems. When a product keeps going out of stock and the price keeps changing, it often means the supermarket is switching between suppliers to secure the best deal. Different suppliers mean different quality standards. It means the oil in one jar might be genuinely different from the oil in the next jar, even though they both carry the Sainsbury's name. The own brand model prioritizes price over consistency. Sainsbury's wants you to trust their brand, but that trust isn't backed by disclosure. You don't know who made this oil. You don't know where it came from beyond somewhere outside the UK. You don't know what processing facility handled it, and when the product keeps going out of stock, you don't even know if the next jar you buy will come from the same source as the last one. The Soil Association organic certification is genuine, but organic only addresses pesticide use during coconut cultivation. It says nothing about what happens after harvest. It doesn't cover processing methods. It doesn't require disclosure of manufacturing facilities. It doesn't guarantee quality control during transport and storage. You're paying Sainsbury's prices for Sainsbury's branding, but getting none of the transparency that should come with a premium supermarket positioning. Number 6. Asda own brand coconut oil. Asda built its brand on being the affordable choice for families watching their budgets. For shoppers trying to eat healthier without spending a fortune, their coconut oil looks like a smart buy. Here's where the information gap becomes a problem. Finding detailed product information about Asda's coconut oil online is remarkably difficult. While other supermarkets at least provide basic listings showing organic status and jar sizes, Asda's coconut oil barely exists in searchable product databases. This level of obscurity is concerning. When a retailer makes it this hard to find information about a product before you're standing in the aisle holding it, that's a red flag. The own brand model means Asda, like Tesco and Sainsbury's, isn't producing this oil themselves. They're contracting with a manufacturer somewhere, probably selecting based on whoever can meet their price point. Budget positioning means corners get cut somewhere. Those corners are rarely advertising or packaging. They're usually in sourcing, processing, or quality control. The areas you can't see from looking at the jar, Asda shoppers are often the people who can least afford to waste money on products that aren't what they claim. They're buying this because they've heard coconut oil is healthy. They're trusting Asda to give them something worthwhile. But without knowing who made it, where it came from, or how it was processed, that trust is built on nothing. The same contract manufacturer that supplies one supermarket might supply another. The same basic coconut oil might sit in Asda jars one month and Tesco jars the next, just with different labels. Without transparency, you simply can't know. And when a company makes it this difficult to find basic product information, you have to ask what else they're not telling you. Number 5. KTC coconut oil. KTC is everywhere. Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's. You can't walk down a cooking oil aisle in Britain without seeing those distinctive jars. The price is remarkably low compared to virgin coconut oil brands. For budget-conscious shoppers, it looks like an obvious choice. But there's a reason KTC coconut oil costs so little, and that reason matters for your health. The label says produce of several countries, not from the Philippines, not from Sri Lanka, not from Indonesia. Several countries. That means zero traceability. Your jar this month could contain coconuts from the Philippines. Next month's jar could be from Indonesia and Vietnam, mixed together. Different farms, different standards, different processing facilities. KTC won't tell you which countries, which farms, or which facilities because they're operating a commodity supply chain. They buy from whoever offers the lowest price at any given time. The oil is described as flavorless. When coconut oil has no coconut flavor, that tells you something crucial about how it was processed. Virgin coconut oil smells like coconut. It tastes like coconut. Those aromatic compounds are part of what makes it valuable. When an oil is flavorless, those compounds have been stripped out. The industry term is RBD processing, refined, bleached, and deodorized. This is industrial-scale production designed to maximize shelf life and minimize cost. The process typically starts with copra, which is dried coconut meat that's often sat in tropical conditions for weeks before processing even begins. That copra is then treated with chemical solvents, frequently hexane, to extract maximum oil. The oil is bleached using clays and activated carbon to remove the brownish color caused by using lower-grade raw materials. Then it's deodorized through high-heat treatment that strips away what's left of the coconut smell along with most of the beneficial compounds. What remains technically qualifies as coconut oil. But the tocopherols are gone. The polyphenols are gone. The natural antioxidants are gone. You're left with pure saturated fat and almost nothing else. Customer reviews on Amazon mention inconsistent texture. Some buyers report the oil separating into distinct layers when it resolidizes with one layer on top and another at the bottom only weakly joined together. That kind of separation suggests either quality control problems or possible mixing of different oil sources. KTC's commodity approach to sourcing means when something goes wrong, tracing the problem becomes impossible. There's no way to identify which batch came from which supplier in which country. The low price is attractive, but you're not getting virgin coconut oil. You're getting industrially processed fat that's been stripped of the compounds that made you want coconut oil in the first place. Number 4. Biona Organic Coconut Oil Cuisine. This one requires careful attention because Biona as a brand actually makes excellent coconut oil. Their organic raw virgin coconut oil is genuinely good. We'll come back to that later. But their cuisine line is a completely different product, and it's important to understand why. The Biona website and product listings openly state that this oil is made by lightly steaming organic coconut oil to remove its flavor and aroma. They're not hiding this. They're advertising it as a feature. The oil is designed for people who want a neutral cooking fat without coconut taste. Here's the problem. When you steam coconut oil to remove flavor and aroma, you're applying heat treatment to strip out volatile compounds. Those volatile compounds are part of what makes virgin coconut oil valuable. The deodorization process involves temperatures that degrade the oil's nutritional profile. You're essentially taking virgin coconut oil and then processing it to behave like refined oil. A customer review on Biona's own website describes a troubling issue. The reviewer said the oil has taken on the plastic taste of the container, which has a horrible smell when the oil is heated. That's not a one-off complaint. That's direct evidence of the packaging migration concern that the Food Standards Agency warns about. When fatty substances sit in plastic containers, especially when exposed to temperature changes during transport and storage, chemicals can leach from the packaging into the product. The longer the oil sits, the more migration occurs. And when you heat that oil for cooking, those migrated compounds become even more apparent. Biona packages this cuisine line in plastic tubs. The 610ml and 875ml sizes both use plastic packaging. At Biona's price point, glass should be standard. The company clearly knows how to package in glass because their raw virgin line uses glass jars, but the cuisine line gets plastic, presumably to keep costs competitive. What you're buying is organic coconut oil that's been heat-treated to remove the characteristics that define virgin coconut oil, packaged in plastic that can introduce contamination, and sold as a cooking oil when the entire point of virgin coconut oil is that it wasn't processed this way. If you want a neutral cooking fat, use olive oil or avocado oil. If you want coconut oil, get virgin coconut oil that hasn't been steamed to remove what makes it coconut oil. The cuisine line sits in an uncomfortable middle ground. It's been processed enough to lose the benefits of virgin oil, but not refined enough to be genuinely cheap. Biona is a good brand making a questionable product with this particular line. Number 3. Holland & Barrett own brand coconut oil. This is where things get particularly frustrating because Holland & Barrett is Britain's most trusted health food retailer. When you walk into their stores, you expect products that actually deliver on wellness promises. You're paying premium prices, often around £8 to £10 for 300 millilitres. Because you trust the Holland & Barrett name means good for you, here's what that trust is buying. Holland & Barrett doesn't manufacture their own coconut oil. They contract with suppliers. The label doesn't tell you who those suppliers are, it doesn't tell you where the coconuts came from, it doesn't tell you what processing methods were used. You're getting a Holland & Barrett label on a jar with zero disclosed provenance. When questioned about their suppliers, the company has been notably vague. Responses tend to be along the lines of, "We work with trusted partners." That's not transparency. That's deflection. For a brand built on health and wellness, that lack of openness is a problem. But the supplier mystery isn't the biggest issue with Holland & Barrett. The ownership is. Holland & Barrett is owned by Letter One Holdings. Letter One is registered in Luxembourg, which is widely considered a tax haven. The company structure allows for tax minimization strategies that mean less money goes to public services, despite Holland & Barrett's substantial profits in the UK. Letter One also owned 33% of Wintershall Dea, a company described on its own website as Europe's leading independent natural gas and crude oil producer. Your coconut oil purchase at Holland & Barrett means your money goes to a corporate group with significant investments in the fossil fuel industry. Ethical Consumer, an independent research organization, gave Holland & Barrett their worst rating for likely tax avoidance strategies. They also gave worst ratings for environmental reporting. The company scored poorly on supply chain management, palm oil policy, animal testing, and political activities. For a health food retailer positioning itself as the ethical choice, those scores are damning. The coconut oil itself comes in plastic packaging. At £8 to £10 for 300 millilitres, glass packaging should be non-negotiable. Premium price points should come with premium packaging that eliminates contamination risks. Instead, you're getting plastic containers that allow phthalate migration into the oil. Customer complaints about Holland & Barrett's overall practices include reports of out-of-date products being sold, difficult returns processes, and dismissive customer service when quality concerns are raised. The company seems more focused on protecting its brand image than investigating genuine issues. Holland & Barrett wants you to trust their green storefronts and wellness positioning. But that trust is being used to sell you products with unknown origins from a company with tax haven registration and fossil fuel investments at premium prices that aren't justified by the transparency you're receiving. Number 2. Morrisons Waitrose and Marks & Spencer own brand coconut oils. These three deserve to be discussed together because they share the same fundamental problem, just at different price points. Morrisons positions itself as the food people trust with its Market Street concept, making you feel like you're buying from proper food specialists. Waitrose sells itself on premium quality for customers who care about what they eat. Marks & Spencer charges the highest prices of any UK supermarket on the promise of superior products. All three hide their coconut oil manufacturers. Morrisons' basic coconut oil, unless you're buying their extra virgin version, doesn't tell you who made it or where it came from, beyond packed in the UK. Morrisons could easily stock properly labelled virgin oil alongside their basic version. In fact, they do. The extra virgin version costs more, but at least you know it's virgin. The basic jar gives you no warning, no explanation, just coconut oil and a price that should tell you something's missing. Waitrose is particularly galling because of the price premium. The essential range coconut oil isn't organic. For a supermarket that markets itself on quality, selling non-organic coconut oil seems contradictory. Pesticide residues, synthetic fertilizers, agricultural chemicals, all potentially present in the final product because organic certification is absent. Waitrose customers typically care about ethical sourcing, yet the company sells coconut oil from supply chains with no disclosed fair trade status, no transparency about farmer payments, and no explanation of processing methods. The essential range is Waitrose in name only. You're paying Waitrose prices for what could be the same commodity oil that budget supermarkets stock, just with fancier packaging. The disconnect between brand image and actual practices is stark. Marks & Spencer charges premium prices for their organic virgin coconut oil. The listing confirms it's organic, calls it virgin, says it's made in Thailand, and shows a jar format. But it doesn't tell you whether the oil is cold-pressed, wet-processed, centrifuged, or otherwise extracted from fresh kernel in a way that distinguishes it from industrial products. For a premium own-label line charging premium prices, that information should be standard. When you're paying more than budget brands, you should be getting more than budget information. The contract manufacturer model means all three supermarkets can change suppliers without notice. What you buy this month might come from a different source than what you bought last month. The label stays the same, but the product inside could be genuinely different. Quality can vary between batches because different suppliers have different standards. And if something goes wrong, if contamination occurs, if quality issues arise, tracing the source becomes nearly impossible because the supplier isn't disclosed. You're trusting Morrison's food expertise, Waitrose's premium positioning, or Marks & Spencer's superior quality claims. But that trust isn't backed by transparency. All three could disclose their manufacturers, all three choose not to. Premium branding without premium disclosure. That's what you're paying for. Number 1. Green Origin's Organic Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. This product earns the number 1 spot, not because it's the worst quality oil, but because it contains something genuinely troubling, a direct factual contradiction on the retailer page that should make any careful shopper pause. The product description on the retailer website says the coconuts are grown and hand-picked by farmers in the Philippines. Clear statement. Unambiguous origin claim, but on that same page, the country of origin field lists Sri Lanka. Both can't be true. Either the description is wrong or the origin label is wrong. One of these pieces of information is incorrect. If they can't get basic provenance right, if there's direct contradiction between what the description says and what the origin label says, what else might be unclear or inaccurate about this product? The rest of the specification actually looks strong. Raw, cold-pressed, organic glass jar. The certifications appear genuine, the processing claims seem legitimate, but that origin contradiction undermines everything else. This is exactly the kind of inconsistency that regulatory bodies watch for. The Food Standards Agency's surveillance program looks for authenticity issues in coconut oil. When labeling can't maintain consistency about something as fundamental as where the product came from, that raises questions about quality control throughout the entire supply chain. Maybe it's a simple administrative error. Maybe someone copied and pasted the wrong country into the online listing. Maybe the coconuts genuinely do come from both Philippines and Sri Lanka, and the description only mentioned one while the origin field listed the other. But maybe isn't good enough when you're choosing what to feed your family. The contradiction is there in black and white on the product page. If a brand can't maintain accurate, consistent information about origin, the most basic fact about any food product, then how much confidence can you have in their other claims? Raw processing, cold-pressed extraction, all of those require verification and quality control. If the basics are confused, the details become questionable. For a product banking on transparency and traceability as selling points, having contradictory origin information is a fundamental failure. Green Origins might be a perfectly good oil. The certifications suggest care in production. But until they fix that glaring contradiction between description and label, there's reasonable doubt about their attention to detail. So those are the 8 products where transparency falls short, where questions remain unanswered, or where processing methods strip away what made you want coconut oil in the first place. Now let's talk about what to look for when you're actually trying to buy quality coconut oil in the UK. The first thing to check is whether the label says virgin or organic virgin. If it just says coconut oil with no virgin designation, you're almost certainly looking at refined oil. Virgin coconut oil will always be clearly labeled as such, because manufacturers want you to know. They can charge more for it. If virgin isn't prominently displayed, assume it's refined. Second, check the packaging. Glass eliminates the phthalate migration concern that plastic introduces. When you're buying a fatty product that you'll store for months, glass matters. Third, look for named origin. Philippines, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, single country, not several countries, not non-EU agriculture, not vague multi-region claims. Single origin suggests better quality control. Fourth, check for fair trade certification if you care about farmer welfare. Fair trade means producers received fair compensation rather than poverty wages. It's not just marketing, it's independently verified. Fifth, look for cold-pressed or centrifuge extracted on the label. These are genuine processing methods that preserve nutrients. Avoid anything saying refined, deodorized, or for high-temperature cooking. Those are code for RBD processing. And finally, be suspicious of extra virgin claims. That term has no legal definition for coconut oil in the UK. It's borrowed from olive oil marketing, but means nothing for coconut. A brand using it is either ignorant or deliberately misleading. Virgin is the term that actually tick those boxes. First, Clearspring Organic Virgin Coconut Oil. Clearspring states clearly that this oil is made from premium organic coconuts. The process is transparent, peeled, shredded, pressed and filtered. That's the traditional method. The oil comes in 200-gram and 400-gram glass jars. No plastic, no contamination risk. The Soil Association organic certification is genuine. The Great Taste Award suggests independent testing confirmed quality. Ethical Consumer scored Clearspring 60+ for workers' rights, indicating better labor practices than most competitors. The company doesn't claim extra virgin because they understand that term is meaningless. They say virgin and organic, which are the certifications that actually matter. Available at Tesco Marketplace, which indicates quality vetting before stocking. Clearspring doesn't specify exact origin country, which keeps it from ranking higher, and it lacks fair trade certification. But the transparency about processing and the glass packaging put it well above budget alternatives. Second, Coconut Merchant Raw Organic Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. Coconut Merchant specifies organic status and Sri Lanka as origin, single country. Named location, that's better than vague multi-region sourcing. The oil comes in glass jars, cold-pressed, unrefined, ethically sourced. The certifications are listed, the processing method is disclosed. The one limitation is that the product page mentions it's made from cold-pressing dried coconut flesh rather than fresh kernel. That puts it slightly below the fresh kernel wet process benchmark that represents the highest quality. But it's still transparent about what it is. You know what you're getting. The dried coconut isn't being hidden. They're being honest about their process. For UK buyers, that honesty combined with glass packaging and organic certification makes it a respectable choice. Third, Mr. Organic Raw Virgin Coconut Oil. Mr. Organic delivers organic, raw virgin and cold-pressed certification in a recyclable glass jar. Sri Lanka sourced, meaning single country origin with better traceability than commodity multi-region products. The listing clearly states the processing method and packaging format. Like Coconut Merchant, it's made from virgin organic dried coconut pulp rather than fresh kernel, which places it below the absolute top tier. But the transparency remains materially better than low-information budget oils. You're getting verifiable organic certification, named origin, disclosed processing, and glass packaging. Those four elements together represent genuine quality control. Fourth, Vita Coco Organic Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. Vita Coco offers organic certification, cold-pressed processing, unrefined oil, and glass jar packaging. The coconuts are hand-picked on thousands of small farms, according to the product listing. The company does disclose that oil comes from the Philippines or Sri Lanka. That two-country sourcing isn't as strong as single origin, but it's still better than several countries with no specification. The extra virgin term remains meaningless marketing language. They should just say virgin. But the organic certification is real. The cold-pressed claim appears genuine. And the glass packaging is appropriate for the price point. Vita Coco built their reputation on coconut water. Their coconut oil benefits from that brand recognition and the quality controls they developed for their primary product line. Hunter & Gather Organic Cold-Pressed Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. Hunter & Gather states that the oil is ethically sourced, lab-tested, made from hand-picked organic coconuts in Sri Lanka. Cold-pressed, without hexanes or solvents or chemicals, packaged in recyclable glass, and sourced from harvests where no animals are used. That's comprehensive disclosure. The limitation is that these are company claims rather than publicly posted certificates of analysis. Independent verification would strengthen confidence, but the label architecture is exactly what you want to see. Named origin, disclosed processing, appropriate packaging, ethical sourcing claims. For buyers wanting detailed information before purchase, Hunter & Gather provides it. 6th, Biona Organic Raw Virgin Coconut Oil. Not the cuisine line we discussed earlier, this is Biona's raw virgin product. The listing says it's pressed from the flesh of fresh coconuts, not dried copra. That fresh kernel processing is the traditional benchmark. It's not bleached, not refined, not pasteurized. The coconuts are sourced from Sri Lanka, single country, named origin, organic certified, BPA-free packaging, glass jar format. Great Taste Award winner. This is the same company that makes the cuisine line, which demonstrates that Biona understands the difference between products. Their raw virgin oil shows they can do it right when they choose to. The contrast between Biona's two lines is instructive. One is openly deodorized for convenience cooking. The other is genuinely traditional virgin oil. When you're buying Biona, make absolutely certain you're getting the raw virgin line, not the cuisine line. The difference matters. 7th, Tiana Organic Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. Tiana offers fair trade certification, raw processing, first cold-pressed extraction, and specifically states no heat used during the production cycle. Glass packaging. EcoCert fair trade credentials alongside organic certification. This is the level of detail that makes buyers feel confident they're getting genuine quality rather than commodity fat. The extra virgin term is still meaningless, but the fair trade certification is independently verified. The organic status is certified. The cold-pressed claim is specific. The glass packaging is appropriate. Tiana delivers transparency across every metric that matters. 8th, Lucy B Fair Trailed Extra Virgin Organic Raw Coconut Oil. Lucy B earns the top position because it's the only major UK brand with fair trade certification as a core commitment. Unrefined, cold-pressed, raw. The company publicly states that no monkeys are used to harvest the coconuts, addressing an ethical concern that many buyers care about. Recyclable glass jars with BPA-free lids. The glass itself contains 20% recycled content, and the labels are designed for easy removal to encourage jar reuse. Ethical Consumer gave Lucy B a Best Buy rating with 18 out of 18 on their scoring system. That's not company marketing, that's independent research confirming the brand delivers on its claims. The coconuts come from a single estate in the Philippines, grown in an agroforestry environment among banana trees and other crops, not monoculture plantation farming. The oil is tested on import for purity, bacteria, fungi. It's confirmed lactose-free and gluten-free for people with those concerns. Lucy B invests in the farming communities. They've built wells, installed solar arrays and bulbs in residences, and provided educational scholarships. 0.75% of sales goes to the Fair Trade governing body. The company makes carbon offset donations to balance their operations. The founder started Lucy B after her own health struggles taught her how difficult finding trustworthy products could be. That personal connection shows in how the business operates. For buyers managing health conditions, for families wanting confidence in what they're purchasing, Lucy B represents the transparency and verified quality that should be standard but remains rare. So there's your complete guide to buying coconut oil in the UK, 8 products where transparency falls short, and 8 brands that actually deliver what they promise. Virgin coconut oil is genuinely healthy when you're getting the real thing. High smoke point makes it ideal for cooking. Medium-chain triglycerides provide benefits you don't get from other fats, but only if the oil hasn't been refined into nutritionally empty fat. Only if it hasn't been contaminated during processing or storage. Only if the brand is actually giving you what the label claims. Look for virgin on the label, check for named origin and fair trade. Choose glass packaging over plastic, and when brands won't tell you who manufactured their product or where it came from, ask yourself what else they're not telling you. If this investigation helped you make a better choice next time you shop, hit that like button and smash the hype button right now. The hype tells YouTube this matters to people. It pushes this video to more viewers who need this information. It sends a message that transparency isn't optional. And drop a comment telling me which food product we should investigate next. What else sitting on UK supermarket shelves needs this kind of scrutiny? Until next time, read those labels carefully, demand transparency from the brands you buy, and protect your plate.